So how does this relate to the sacrifice that I'm talking about as it concerns the total destruction of New York City, which in essence will equal the starting point for the full destruction of the United States, which in essence means after the event that takes place here concerning this millstone that's supposed to fall off outside of New York City out in the ocean, meaning they're not going to put the United States back together. We're already experiencing from every possible variable, economic to military, we're experiencing the downfall right now. And everybody is being educated by the media of how, in a sense, corrupt America is. And that's just a part of the plan. They're exposing themselves as evil. So when these beings come and they supposedly clean up the world, they're going to make it look like they clean up the corrupt governments of the world. But in reality, they're just taking the corrupt governments of the world to a safe place. And we could quote that from, I think it's out of the book of Hosea, that is talking about when Ephraim, the eagle, brings its children to the slaughter. It describes Ephraim being kept in a pleasant place. And everybody knows that they've got their underground bunkers, they've got their bases on the dark side of the moon. That's the fulfillment of that scripture. That when these things go down, all of these people have been promised safety, and that's going to be the Hollywood elite, that's going to be the academic establishment that's playing ball, that's going to be the politicians, that's going to be the billionaires, the ultra rich of the world, the secret societies, all of these people that have been working as a singular group to bring about this new world order. They've been promised safety during all this, that if they would just commit to the plan, do the work, that when the time comes, they're going to be safe, and that the provisions would be there for them, and that they would make it through it, and that all they have to do is wait for a little while, and then the earth will be removed of its pestilence, meaning us, the undesirables, and then they can come back on up and have their golden age, and they can let the technology out that they've been suppressing. And you got to think about it. They've been keeping this technology away because they can't control you individually. They can't allow you to be flying around in crafts that can zap in and out and blink in and out. Could you imagine how many banks would be robbed? And I mean, think about this. They can't control society. If you can't control these individual minds of people, they're certainly not going to arm you with technology, not high technology anyway, because that means that once you have the knowledge that they have, you can overcome them. So the ability to control you is to first control the knowledge. And how do you control the knowledge? Well, you control the brain of the person who's thinking about the knowledge. And we've already talked about that in great detail. So, keep it all in perspective, because it's happening just like they have planned it, just like the Bible has prophesied it. Okay, let's get into this and show once again how the sacrifice is going to connect us symbolically to New York City through this movie, The Dark Knight, via Gotham as it represents New York, and then New York represents Golgotha, City of the Dead. To do that, the first thing we want to do is just kind of read up what I got here. The very basis of the Royal Arch is that of the sun's travel through the zodiac. And that's exactly what I told you in the beginning. That's the sun's travel through the zodiac, or the path of the ecliptic. The ecliptic is the center of the band of sky called the zodiac. Now, these scriptures here have everything to do with all of this information, but I've already gone over it, and I don't have time to give it to you here. So what I want to do is just stay on track for what we're talking about. And now we want to understand, what is the meaning of them putting this symbol of Cancer at this exalted point? What are they trying to say? Well, what they're trying to say is this. The exalted point of Cancer symbolically represents the gateway of life from the etheric realms into the material world. That's a Masonic Egyptian tradition, which means it's not my words. It's theirs. It's what they mean. And that's going to connect us once again back to Ephraim, because Ephraim is an Egyptian descendant, which represents English Freemasonry. Perfect connection. I want you to see here that it represents not the beings themselves, but the gateway itself that allows the beings to come through. And this is going to represent ourselves here with this Cancer 69 of where this sacrifice has taken place in this timing. I'll be back.